Hello, Chicago Institute. My name is Denise Bobin. I'm a resource room specialist in the resource room, and I'm going to present a mini workshop to you today on math journals. In talking to some of you in the resource room who have been teaching math, a common concern that some of you have shared with me is that your students are forgetting objectives that you taught them a few days earlier that they need to do the current day's math objective. And so I thought back to something that I used in my 5th grade classroom in Phoenix, which was math journals. And it's a pretty simple concept, but it's really great for helping students to retain objectives that they have been taught over time and to be able to go back and check up on how to do something that they were taught in the past without having to ask their teacher. And so a math journal is pretty simple. It doesn't need to look exactly like what I'm going to show you, but the general components that I'm going to show you I think are going to be pretty helpful to helping your students to produce a math journal. All that you need is a notebook, or if you don't have a notebook, you can just be really creative with paper. You can take pieces of paper and staple them along the sides to create a journal. You can fold paper in half. You can do all sorts of things to make your own journal. You don't need to go out and buy notebooks for all of your kids if you don't have those resources. But I'm going to use this example here to show you the general components of a math journal entry. The title of the math journal entry will be the objective of what it is that you are going to be teaching that day. So in this example, it's adding fractions with like denominators. Then you will guide students to write the steps that you will need to do in order to complete that objective. And so for every objective that you teach them, they'll have the steps listed there. You'll then go through some examples with them that they'll copy down in their math journal. And then depending on what you want to do, you can also create space for them to do some more practice on their own with a partner. You can create space for them to do written responses. You can kind of do whatever you want with the math journal. But the main idea is that they will have it all in one place in order of the time that you are teaching it to them, so that 8 days later, if they forget how to add fractions with like denominators and they come to you and say, I forgot, you can say, go back to your math journal. And that's a really great way for them to be able to retain that information and keep it over time. Those of you teaching social studies, science, any of the content areas, you can easily adapt this sort of model to help you in the same way, so that if you are teaching students about different historical concepts or scientific concepts and that they will need to remember as you are going further with your objectives, you can use the same model and kind of adapt it as you see fit. And so feel free to come to the resource room to ask me questions if you'd like, but I hope that you will use math journals or any sort of journals in your classroom. Good luck.